What's going on, everybody? All right, so look, check this out. This is what I came across today. First things first, Mattel is back at DC. So they won the license and McFarlane lost. Look, as a toy collector, I loved Mattel, and they were the ones that put the toys for DC for a while when they had the license. And 5 years ago, they lost it and McFarlane took over, and they've been putting out all these figures and all this stuff. Both are good. Now, the difference with both are that with McFarlane, the DC Multiverse figures were 7-inch. And of course, we had so much variety and all that goodness. And sometimes good things come to an end. Unfortunately, for Todd McFarlane, this is the end for the line. And right now, Mattel is going to once again continue to make figures. About that update with Clayface, apparently it's going to be a R-rated. Now, we don't know what and how it's going to be within the DCU. Now, the problem that I have is the following. It's going to be a R-rated, and it's okay for James Gunn to get approved and no problem. But when Zach was there and he wanted to do Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, and David Ayer were there to do Suicide Squad, they were all supposed to be rated R. That's why we got the second versions, the extended cut, the ultimate cut, and of course now we have the Snyder cut. And those three are all R-rated. And look at how loved they are. A lot of fans want more. They want that style. Oh, but you had some fans that were like, it's too dark, it's too brute, because they couldn't handle that. And look at what WB has become now, a full circus, turning these iconic characters into clowns. That's ridiculous. But then now, because Matt Reeves wants to do everything R-rated, and because James Gunn wants to do it R-rated, there's no problem. There's no and, ifs, or buts. But every time Zack Snyder wanted to do something within the Snyderverse, there was always a but. The studio will always get in the way. You can see that the studio is the problem. And within the studio, of course, James Gunn and David Zaslav. And let's not forget Peter Safran. These three morons are the ones that are completely running this whole company to the ground. Now, to some of you fans that are always like, well, you're always so negative, you're always talking down and wishing bad on DC, blah, blah, blah. Look, today, finally, and I know yesterday, the stocks went up a little bit for WB. Not much, but it went up and they're in the green. So that's a good sign. Does that mean that things are going to change over at DC and with WB? No. And I'll tell you why. First things first, we cannot trust this company because we already know all the lies and how they like to play the blame game. And in the end, like I've been telling y'all, it's always about the money. In the end, it will always be about the money. Now, seeing how WB is right now, announcing all these projects with James Gunn and this whole reboot and stuff like that, fans are divided. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind, let's give credit where credit is due. A lot of people don't like to acknowledge and give credit to Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse. And regardless, wherever you go, you're always going to have the Snyderverse there. Why? Because fans will always bring it up. And that is something part of DC and its history. Because we, the fans, made it possible for us to get that Snyder cut when many were against it. We proved you wrong, we won, and we got it. That's what matters. And in due time, we will get the Snyderverse restored. And overall, this company is still in hot water. What they need to do is get their act together. They know that they need to restore the Snyderverse. I, as a fan, I'm convinced, and I know that it's going to make a strong comeback. By James Gunn announcing and posting a picture of all this plan that they want to do, half of them are not going to happen, honestly. And at the rate that we're going, James Gunn's contract will not get renewed, because apparently that's that rumor that they do not want to go with in 2026. Remember, that's when his contract is going to expire. This year, rumor has it that Peter Safran's contract will expire and it will not get renewed. And of course, seeing how incompetent David Zaslav is and always playing the blame game, trying to, blame this one and that one instead of owning up as a CEO like he should and say, hey, this is what we need to do. But this is the situation that they're in. They go up, but at the same time, they go back down. Like I've always been saying, they move one step forward and three backwards. Again, They need to listen to the fans and give the fans what they want. We need James Gunn out. He doesn't belong and he's not worthy being CEO, and especially not the head of DC Studios. We need Zack Snyder, because Zack Snyder had a plan. He was setting everything up, and everything was going to be massive, including new characters that he wanted to bring and set everything up. But WB chose this, and they brought this upon themselves. But at the same time, we have to look at it right now. It's still doing bad, but even though it did went up, some of y'all got to give me credit, because I'm not always talking negative, all right? So here, I'm proving you and showing you, as a DC fan, things can change. But if WB wants it to really be in those high numbers in the stocks again, besides merchandise, then you need to give us the fans and include us also, along with the Snyderverse. You do that, and you will see massive success. Until that doesn't happen, you already know the drill. As always, hit that subscribe, drop your comments, and until next time.